those things.
Yeah.
It says that also oxytocin is also released when you like smell or see a flower. The one, how long do you have to hug? 20 seconds?
No, I think it's at least 6 seconds.
Okay.
Or no, it's kissing for 6 seconds.
Kiss for 6, hug for 20.
Hug for 20, sex, whatever the thing may be. Like usually oxytocin is like a human bonding hormone.
Like mothers and babies, when you breastfeed,
yep.
You're producing that, and it's creating this like bonding
chemical
and like,
romance.
Yeah. Well, so it says here that then receiving flowers from someone can communicate like that oxytocin response. So maybe that's what I was. Hi, friend. This is Annette.
This is Jared.
And welcome to our Happy Family podcast.
We're passionate about happy, healthy relationships.
And that only happens with happy, healthy people.
So join us each week as we discuss the ingredients of making your own happy family.
Thanks for joining us. Let's jump in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Happy Family podcast. It is a beautiful day here in Georgia, and we are sitting in Jared's office, also known as the barn, the office in the barn,
right?
Recording this for you. And as we have been trying to record, there's this lovely cardinal that keeps paying the door a visit.
By ramming his head into it suicidally.
We've been watching this cardinal it's been at least a few weeks. It's like living around here.
I'm concerned the door's going to crack. That's
I know.
The problem.
No, I don't think it's that strong. You think?
I mean, their beaks are pretty good.
Oh.
But I think it's interesting because last week when we were asked, why is your podcast called Happy Family? And I had to explain something. Well, like my office is in the barn and you're going to hear donkeys and chickens and cardinals trying to kill themselves.
Yeah, like maybe we don't always talk about farm things, but we are on a farm, friends. This cardinal is determined to, I don't know if thinks it's his opponent, maybe, I'm assuming.
I think so.
Another red cardinal male going to take my female away from me. Okay. Anyways, so if you hear a thud, that's hopefully the cardinal not surviving. Anyways, right. We've talked about a lot of different subjects lately. And last time it was on growing food and why you should eat like seasonal foods, which I love. I'm all about that. I could talk about that for a whole nother podcast. But another thing that I feel has become a passion of mine ever since moving to the farm, and more as the years have gone on, has been growing flowers. And we don't grow flowers like, what am I trying to say? Like commercially or to scale. Like this isn't like, we're not flower farmers. That's what I'm trying to say. But I like having flowers around. And I think we all love seeing flowers and whatnot, but it's like, why is that good, right? But I'm going to tell you a story before we deep dive into why you should grow some flowers. I'm going to tell you a story. So let's rewind way back. I mean, almost 22 years. It's a while. Wow, right? I know. Wow. To my freshman year in college. In collage.
Let's go get it.
Where I had met this boy named Jared. We've talked about how we've met before. And all the emotions and all the love. And we had this thing at school called convocation, which is like assembly gathering, I guess, right? It was basically once a week. You were kind of required to attend so many of these. And it was like a talk and just everyone coming together in a big space in the gym or wherever to talk and to hear a message and go from there. And then it was really fun because it was always pasta day. It was on Thursdays and it was always pasta day. And they had like this really good pasta situation. So you kind of wanted to go to convocation just so you could make it in time to get in line first at the pasta.
Right.
Did you like the pasta?
I did.
You did? Yeah. So good. So anyways, I attended convocation and Jared at the time was student association president. And so he had to go up there and talk about stuff. And so I expected him to go up there. And at that point we had been dating for a few months or so. Jared walks up there and he goes off script. He's no longer talking about whatever student association thing. He starts saying, there's this girl I really like. I honestly don't remember very much. I probably blacked out.
Why do I feel like we were in a big church?
I think we were in the church this time because there was also, we would meet in the gym or at the church. And the church was like, you could seat like, I don't know, 2,000. It was big. A lot of people. So Jared's up there and he starts saying something about this girl he likes. And there was going to be like a big school event around Valentine's coming up. And so, you could ask someone to go with you, all that stuff. Well, Jared gets up there and all of a sudden he grabs like what looked like 1,000,000 roses. And it kind of was. It was 12 dozen roses. So how many is that? 144? I just did good math.
You did.
Wow, I'm so proud of myself. So he has all these roses he's holding. And he says, and I would like to ask this girl to go to, to this event with me. And he calls me up there in the middle of all the school people.
Yes.
I probably blacked out, honestly. Anyways, so he asked me out. I said, yes, of course. I was blinded by love.
Wow.
All the things. Jared made a very nice romantic gesture, went all out. And then I had to take all these roses back to my room. And I think my roommate was like, seriously? Because it's a small room, where are you going to fit all those flowers? We had like roses in cups and like different vases, like basically all around. But it smelled really nice, when you walked into the room. So I feel like in my mind, that's like a core memory.
All right.
You helped develop a core memory.
Beautiful.
Yeah, in relation to flowers. But what's funny is that now, as the years have passed, 20 years have passed, and we live here on the farm and we have all these flowers, it's just so fun to be able to grow your own and just go outside and clip some and put them inside. And
now, like, here's some seeds, grow your own flowers.
Yeah. Now it's like we don't really need to give each other flowers anymore. We can give each other plants.
Go pick some flowers.
Yeah. But really, like when you grow them, you don't want to go buy them. It's kind of like what's the word?
Intuitive?
I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. But flowers are amazing and awesome. And not only are they beautiful to look at, but they are good for you to look at. For what reason? You go first.
Oh, jackpot. All right. So I got a couple reasons.
You've got good stuff
reasons.
over
You're
there.
going to share some. I'm going to share some.
Okay.
Number one is, this is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Most things in the world that trigger dopamine are bad for you.
Yeah. We had a whole episode on, right? Dopamine
on dopamine.
Yeah.
Almost anything addictive triggers dopamine.
Yeah.
That's why you're like, oh, I gotta have more porn, gotta have more Instagram,
gotta go on Instagram,
gotta have more alcohol, gotta play more video games, whatever the thing may be.
Because it gives you that high.
Yeah, particularly with guys, a lot of addictive behaviors. Gotta bet more on the sports, gotta watch more sports, gotta play more sports. Just addictive. What will happen? And the what will happen and something great could happen is what triggers dopamine. Even if that doesn't end up being the case, the dopamine is the what if something great happens.
Yeah.
So with flowers, this is absolutely phenomenal. Flowers trigger, it's both the sight and scent of flowers trigger dopamine. I just wonder, like, is that something in our DNA that throughout time?
I mean, probably.
Flowers are like this sign of abundance and beauty. So when we smell or see flowers, dopamine is triggered because it's the belief something great is happening or is about to happen. So that's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. We actually planted a lot of roses around our property over the last few years. And they've been at peak the last month. And when you walk out of this room we're in right now, Jared's office, it is like very smelly in such an amazing way. The smell of roses. And it's amazing. It's just like this, oh, this is amazing. So that's probably triggering my dopamine.
That's right.
So it's making me happy.
Yeah. I think of the time. So here's a story. I went down to Augusta National for the Masters.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I had been. And it is amazing. It's like an adult Disneyland. No pine
for
needle
guys,
is out of
probably.
place. Yeah, probably so. Everything's just pristine. The grass looks like turf, fake.
Yeah.
It's just everything's perfect. Not a weed.
And they
inside.
time it like perfect.
They literally, I learned that they'll take the azaleas so that they don't blossom too early, because this is usually like first or second weekend in April in Georgia. They'll put them in coolers and wait until the weekend, and then they plant them knowing these are going to pop usually on Saturday and Sunday.
I mean, that's like a science.
It's like a science. So, and boy, those azaleas, they just make the place come alive.
And it's probably, that is a memory. Like anyone that goes there or knows.
You're
Like
gonna see
it's
flowers.
a big deal. Like, you know, the masters, like, you know, there's going to be these beautiful flowers.
Oh yeah.
And how amazing that they, yeah. And that's kind of them on purpose, you know, planning it for a specific, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
All right, here's the second thing.
Yeah.
Serotonin. This is basically the happy hormone. When we are around flowers, serotonin is produced in the body, and we have feelings of calmness, reduced stress and anxiety, and it lowers depression. All with being around colorful flowers.
Isn't that crazy?
So, yeah, I mean, there again, it's like, you got to think there's something in the DNA that was made to respond to flowers.
Well, I feel like we were made to be in nature, right? Like it's just this innate, this thing in all of us that when you're outside, you're naturally happier. Like you feel good. You're probably because you're in fresh air, sunshine, you're receiving all those wonderful things, benefits of being outdoors versus being cooped inside all the time. So I just think it's really cool how flowers add that next level. Like there could have been no flowers. It could have just been grass but flowers are just, I don't know. It's just very cool. And
it's like
really
they
cool.
really have no purpose other than to be beautiful.
Well, no, they
to
do.
smell
They pollinate.
amazing.
They help the bees.
Yeah, but there's other ways that could be.
Well, yeah, but they still need
They don't
flowers.
have to be beautiful to pollinate.
Sure.
They could just be.
What was that again? I don't know why that visual. That sounds like something gross and like squishy that squishes out of the flower.
Ugly looking.
Right. It didn't have to be beautiful because flowers serve the purpose. Like you have to have the pollen for, you know, all your bees and butterflies. I'm sitting here right now. And we actually have these big butterfly bushes outside the door and I see butterflies hovering around them. You need the flowers. It's just, it didn't have to be pretty. They didn't have to smell good. They didn't have to, you know, and that's where I feel like I love how I feel God created the earth and made it for us to enjoy and made it so extra beautiful so that hopefully we want to be outside and do all those things. Yeah. It says that also oxytocin is also released when you like smell or see a flower.
So that's a little shocking to me.
All the and oxytocin is really what? The one, how long do you have to hug? 20 seconds?
No, I think it's at least 6 seconds.
Okay.
Or no, it's kissing for 6 seconds.
Kiss for 6, hug for 20.
Hug for 20, sex, whatever the thing may be. Like usually oxytocin is like a human bonding hormone.
Like mothers and babies, when you breastfeed,
yep.
You're producing that and it's creating this like bonding.
Chemical
and like,
romance.
Yeah. Well, so it says here that then receiving flowers from someone can communicate like that like that oxytocin response. So maybe that's what I was feeling that day when you brought all those flowers.
I was manipulating you.
Oh, sneaky.
Drugging you
Good
up.
thing I liked you already. It wasn't like a random, like we didn't know each other, you know?
Yeah. Bring this girl up here.
No. But yeah, it says basically the emotional response releases the oxytocin in the brain, reinforcing the bond between those individuals. But okay. But sure. Between us, you and I and you.
You know what I'm saying? Why
together.
Is it that, you know any other flowers that have thorns other than roses? Fascinating. Like roses could arguably be the most beautiful
Why do they
flowers.
have thorns? I actually don't know. Do you know? I think it's a cause of our world not being perfect, but
I just find not other flowers have that problem.
Interesting.
Yeah. Keep going.
And it's so Ava, our daughter, she has the funniest definitions for things. So roses to her, because of the thorns, the other day, she just walked by one of our bushes and she kind of touched it, went to touch a rose and kind of touched a thorn. She's like, oh, blood of death. She calls them blood of death. Doesn't that
my.
sound so dramatic?
I hope she remembers it and some guy gives her roses. Thank you for the blood of death flowers.
No, maybe we should warn her, like, hey, maybe don't. But yeah, she'll say, and then she'll call weeds Satan's seeds.
Oh my.
It's like, where? I haven't told her this stuff. She's come up with this all on her own. But yeah, roses, blood of death. I'm like, wow.
Oh,
okay. So here's another fun fact. It says that a study by Rutgers University found that having flowers in the office increases productivity and innovative thinking.
That's amazing.
Isn't that interesting? So not only does it help you from a chemical, your dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, those things chemically, right? It can also help your creative side of your brain. I wonder why. I wonder if it's just seeing something beautiful and the colors and the intricacy.
You know what I think it is? I think it's those hormones. What are they again? I would argue that when you have these hormones being produced in your body, you are at peak, I'm safe. And I think when you feel totally loved and safe, you're the most creative.
Or relax. I could see that.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah.
No stress. Particularly no stress. I can be really creative. So yeah, something to it. Flowers into the boardroom.
It says that they enhance the cognitive function and can improve your problem-solving skills.
Which is kind of both sides of the brain. So that's pretty fascinating.
So not only, so both. This is the study by Rutgers. It helps your creative side and also problem-solving.
Yeah, that's profound.
It's almost like
great point.
that's a reason to always just have flowers in the workplace or at home. You don't have flowers in here. I should start making little. I make little vases.
I need some blood of death in here.
You need blood of death. It sounds so dramatic. I love it. I always gather or try to gather whatever flowers or things are blooming out there, and put them in our house. I should be making you one.
Thank you.
You need one in your office space. I have not thought of that. I apologize for decreasing your creativity
out of the Stone Age
and productivity. You need some life. Jared has a little bonsai plant. That's about it.
And golf balls.
That's definitely not help. That I don't think there's studies on golf balls helping.
Oh, trust me, there will be.
You're hilarious. So, and the last one, there's just all these cool studies. So I thought, hey, why not back it up with science? It says that studies have also shown that flowers can positively affect our mood around others and our perception of others. Is that weird?
That's fascinating.
With flowers, this is fun. Pictures of with flowers around, these people were looking at pictures of others, on a screen. They were judged more positively than when there was no flowers in the room. Same stuff, same pictures.
It's like we're in a place of love. Only love exists here.
I know. I mean, I think that's amazing that you can, in your brain, think of someone differently or perceive someone differently just because of the environment.
That's awesome. I mean, that shows you really from a business standpoint, relationship standpoint, like get flowers in the room.
Yeah. Like what in the world?
Yeah.
So I looked up a little bit on the colors, of flowers, because I think we all kind of naturally assume like, oh, different colors are going to evoke different feelings or whatever. So by nature, of course, the more pastels and like blue, pinks, and lighter colors are shown to be more relaxing.
Okay.
Like you go in and you're like, oh, yes, the beautiful. While the brighter colors, orange, red, those type of things, were like, oh, it sparks more of that creativity, kind of like a jumpstart, feel good kind of thing. However, I found this really interesting. It said, if you have a favorite color, so for example, purple, it doesn't matter if the studies have shown that this color is better for this or that color. If it's your favorite color, it will do those things for you. Yeah. So it was saying, so in this study, it was saying, it was, I think, which isn't a large study, but it was like 600 people. And this was in England, and they did it based on the colors. So everyone said, yes, blues and cool tones, relaxed, happy, happy, bright, creative, whatever. But then they said, how about what's your favorite color? And then they showed them flowers only in that color. And it was also like split. 50% said, oh, relaxing, amazing. And 50% said, oh, creative, happy, all that, without it being the other natural colors. So isn't that interesting? Yeah. So basically, plant flowers of the colors you like.
That's great.
Meaning it might help inspire you more.
Or find someone's favorite color and then buy them flowers.
And then give them that specific color. I like that.
And then ask them to sign a big contract.
We're not using flowers to manipulate people.
For a hospitality experience. Imagine if you ask someone, be so random, you're booking some resort, I don't know, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you ask someone their favorite color. They think, well, that's a dumb question, but I'll answer pink. And then when you arrive, there are pink flowers everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that thought. Take note of that.
Take note.
I like that. Interesting. Okay. So the other thing that I find amazing about flowers, and this is something for you to think about, maybe if you're like landscaping or, planting flowers, there's obviously perennials and annuals. Perennials come back every year. Annuals, you got to replant, which is kind of a pain. I'm just going to say. So think of things that you can plant that'll come back every year. And also maybe even just things that will bloom at different times of the year.
Absolutely.
So what's been really fun here, when it's dead winter and there is no flowers, nothing green, everything is just, one of the first flowers to bloom around here are daffodils. And they're that really bright yellow, cheery, sunny thing. And I'm like, how cool that that's one of the first flowers everywhere that blooms as a, hey, like spring is coming. It's going to be okay. Here's some color, Yeah. And with our daughter, it's been really fun because she knows. She'll say, oh, are the daffodils blooming yet? Are the daffodils blooming yet? And it's just cool. Then after the daffodils come the tulips. And after the tulips, we start getting some of the roses opening. It's like there's something always in bloom for the season. We've got dahlias starting, and then sunflowers will come later. And then it's just this continuous flow of flowers. And it's just it makes you so happy. It makes me so happy.
Absolutely.
The other day, posted this thing on Instagram. It was really interesting. I went around the farm and I collected blooms from whatever was blooming, and I put them all, down and looked at them. And I thought, I wonder wouldn't it be cool if we could identify different kinds of flowers the same way we can identify common like brands and logos. And it's something to think about. Like we know so much, like if you see a Nike swoosh, oh, that's Nike, right? If you see, I don't know, there's so many things, Starbucks, Adidas, whatever, you name it, Target, you see the logo, we know what that is. But we've gotten so far away from like nature and knowing all those things. Do you recognize a flower when you see it? Would you know that's a strawberry flower? Or would you know, that's a poppy or whatever?
Good point.
Yeah. It's just a thought. Obviously, since we've talked about all these amazing things that flowers do for us, maybe it's a note to get outside more, learn more about nature, literally stop and smell the roses, right? That's an expression we use. For your own health. But for your own health, to boost those good chemicals, can't talk, to do all those wonderful things. Just start growing more flowers. So as we're in the time of year where you can still plant stuff, there's still time. You can still plant sunflowers. You can plant zinnias. All these things will still bloom most anywhere you are. Plant flowers, friends. I don't think you'll regret it. And it's really fun when you get to make bouquets and take them to people or have them just at home or in your office. You'll never regret growing flowers. So that's my PSA. That's my 2 cents for today. Yeah. What's your favorite flower? I'll close with that. You got to have one. What's that?
Those pink David Austin roses.
The roses? Yeah. They smell so good. I think my favorites are dahlias. Because dahlias are magnificent.
Well,
when they really
dahlias are prettier. But that's the best smelling flower.
Yeah, it is the best smelling. It's pretty amazing. We also planted some, I just remember this, gardenias. So when we did our planted some things around our chicken coop. There was this guy that was helping us, and he said, "You need to plant things that smell good around the chicken coop because they smell gross." And I was like, "Okay, fair, right?" And so we have gardenias blooming right now, and roses smell good, and there's honeysuckle, and it is actually quite nice to have something good to smell.
Chicken poop never smelled so good.
Never smelled so good. So think about that too. But thank you for listening. Plant more flowers, and we will be back next time. Thank you for listening.